Welcome to You're Not the Boss of Me. If you are determined to break glass ceilings and build it your way, this show is for you. I'm your host, Beth Graves, and I am obsessed with helping you to not just dream it, but make the plan, connect the dots, and create what you crave. Are you ready? Let's get started. Well, hello, my friends, and welcome back to episode number 16. Can you believe it? Thank you so much if you've been with me since the beginning, and what an incredible fun launch for 2019. I want to encourage you, if there's something on your list that you've been putting off or that you've been thinking, I don't know if I'm cut out for that, or why would people want to sit and put the earbuds in, listen to me on their drive to work, whatever that thing is, I encourage you to go for it. That was this podcast. It was a forever launch because I kept questioning the content, the tech. Would people want to listen? Would people want to come aboard with me? And guess what? This has been the best way for me to connect with so many new friends. Every single week, I'm getting screenshots on Instagram, messages on Facebook, just letting me know that my words are helping you, or you're giving me feedback on what kind of guests you want, what kinds of content. And I get to interview some of the most incredible thought leaders in the industry, and today is no exception. I am going to introduce you to a friend of mine, Bolen, who's a vibrational intuitive trainer. If you're not sure what that is, you are going to know by the end. She's one of the most sought after in the United States and all over the world. And what she does is she's going to help you consciously create and manifest so that you can build the business of your dreams and live the life that you want to live. So she started a global outreach company called I Thought Mind last year. And what I love the most that you're going to hear her talk about today is vibrationally, what that is, and how that helps you to create a life filled with possibilities. So I'm telling you guys, this is good stuff. But before we launch into the interview and my conversation with Lori, I want to read to you one of our reviews this week. And if you are KWN-Thriver, I want you to either send me an Instagram message in the DMs, hit me up over on Facebook, because we want to send you a boss hat. We've got to know who you are in this review. And thank you for taking the time to download, to review, and to share the love. And she or he says, every week, I look forward to my personal coaching session with Beth and her friends. They are sitting in my car with me, coaching me on how to succeed in all areas of my life, not just my business. It's as if she knows what I need to hear. Keep up the amazing work. I am thankful for this podcast and can't wait for next week. Oh my gosh, thank you. And I love sitting in the car and being friends with you, KWN Thriver. It's as though I can read your mind, right? And you said you're looking forward to next week. Well, next week, we have a podcast with none other than Santa Claus. I'm not kidding you. Santa's coming live on the podcast, and we're going to be talking about how Santa makes his list. So look forward to that. I can't wait for you to hear from our guest today, Lori Bolen. So here we go. All right. So I just had this awesome introduction that I'm introducing Lori, and some of you listening are thinking, okay, vibration, I know all about manifesting, I've made my vision board, I'm listening to all the YouTube videos, I'm on this entrepreneurial journey, I'm looking back at 2019 and none of it happened. So Lori is going to debunk some of the mysteries that you have out there, because all of a sudden I think, Lori, that 2018 brought about everybody was manifesting and cutting out pictures and doing all the things. And they're like, wait, but I still don't have it. So I want you just give an introduction of your, let's pretend like we're meeting at a party and you tell myself what you do. And I'm looking at you like, what? So let's go, we're at Nikki Beach and I run into you and we start having a conversation. How would you describe to me who you are and what you do?
Okay. Well, first off, I would describe that I'm a vibrational intuitive trainer. So the minute I introduce myself, if you don't know anything about that, you look at me and lean in and go, what is a vibrational intuitive trainer? Now, clearly everybody knows intuition, but vibration, what is that? So everybody that is on this planet, 7.7 billion people, we all have energy. We run off a conscious vibration. So we're always gravitating towards something. So what I do is I help people understand if what they're gravitating towards is actually aligned to what their goal is or what they want to create for their life. So that's really important. And that's what I would be telling you. And every single time I tell someone what I do, the next thing is they ask me, so what does my vibration say about me? What am I actually creating in my life? And so then here we go, kicking in with the intuition for a moment. And the next thing you know, the introduction of maybe a minute or two ends up being like a half hour. And I end up adding another friend to my global outreach. So that's a perfect way that I would explain what the heck I do.
Okay, I love that. So I think that this audience tells me all the time that they love that we make it super personal. So let's talk as though we're talking to Kaylee today. And Kaylee she's imaginary, so we can't really tap into her vibration. But Kaylee is doing all the things. She's showing up to the Zooms. She's doing some reach outs. She's reading the Big Leap, and she's doing all of the things, but she's still not hitting her goals. And I equate it in a way to not having a routine with the gym. Okay. So if I skip the gym or I don't do my intermittent fasting and all of the things that I know work for me, that my body feels healthy, when I feel the most confident, when I know that all my ducks are in a row, I feel that Kaylee might need a routine that helps her with her vibration and also with these goals. And then it starts to feel, even when I'm describing it to you, that feels chaotic. Oh my gosh, is she reading this book? Is she waking up early? Is she manifesting in the afternoon? So if you have an entrepreneur, a network marketer, let's use, that's at the beginning levels, how do you start to work with this person to get some of these practices and get it working in Kaylee's life?
Okay, the first thing that I explain is that we're always broadcasting a vibration and we're always receiving a vibration. So most people talk about the law of attraction, and I always say the law of attraction is always working. So is your vibration. So you're always broadcasting something. So if she was broadcasting all this kind of chaos and all of a sudden you receive that vibration, you would go, oh my gosh, wait a second here. What can we do about it? So the first thing I would do when I work with somebody is to recognize what kind of vibration are they broadcasting? Is it aligning with the way that they view being a wealthy entrepreneur, their goal setting, all of that? Because sometimes someone could have the best strategy in the whole entire world and just be awesome with their strategy, but yet not become a wealthy entrepreneur or hit their goal. And it simply is a level of looking at first, what vibration are they broadcasting? Now, what does that mean? Your mind has a consciousness, and then it has this subconscious. And in the subconscious, we have all the familiarity. So the longer you are familiar to your routine, the likelihood is that that vibration is going to always have that same outcome. So if you think for a moment, let's say that you have a goal of increasing your lifestyle to $1 million. Okay. And so now you've arrived to that $1 million and you want more. So you have to up that vibration of broadcasting to be able to have that happen. So it's really important. Here's some simple tools and exercises that I tell people right away. So do you think a lot? Are you stressing? Are you in this kind of negative mindset? Well, then you automatically know what you're broadcasting. So if you're out there, what do you think people are receiving from you when you're trying to, expand your business? So that's the most important thing. Even though a lot of people will be kind, represent themselves nice, but they're broadcasting a vibration that says no thanks. So that's why I talk about there's so many people that are entrepreneurs that are poor entrepreneurs. And they really want to be wealthy. So to be wealthy isn't necessarily believing, yes, I can do it. It's about making sure that you're vibrationally aligned and you're broadcasting that. And you're 100% certain of what that vibration is. So let's say, for example, you're a very, very kind and enthusiastic person, which I know you are, Beth. So I know you're broadcasting out there and you're receiving people that are coming to you that are like, wow, what's going on? I'm open to learning more. So that's a really good vibrational signal. So that would be the first thing that I would be asking someone. Sit down and write down, what are you representing? What are you broadcasting to people? Do you feel that way genuinely? Are your thoughts in that direction? For example, if you're selling something you don't believe in, what are you broadcasting? You're broadcasting people that aren't going to believe in that either. So that's the number one in everything that you're doing. Pay attention to your vibration. So here's what happens when you're getting ready to, let's say, upgrade your goal or expand your business. Simply because we're approaching 2020. So a lot of people are like, hey, what's my business going to look like next year? So when you take a look at that, you want to really think if you're putting limitations on your thoughts, or you're letting your everyday life consume you in a way that's greater than your entrepreneurial business, then you're broadcasting more chaos than anything. Does that make sense?
Yes. And so because I have the opportunity to work with thousands of women in this network marketing space and in the coaching space, I'll receive messages all day long. And something like, I'm just getting crickets on my message. And so immediately I think, well, of course you're getting crickets because you're projecting that, right? You're broadcasting that.
Yes.
And also there's this other piece, because most of you listening are network marketing entrepreneurs, or you might be life coaches, I believed so firmly in the power of the network marketing model, in residual income, and that it was a business that was available and accessible to all, that I shared that people just would be like, I got to know what you're doing, where I feel that so many people are out there projecting or putting out there, oh, well, it's this thing. It's not really a pyramid, but it's kind of, yeah. And so of course people aren't wanting to hear more about it. So how do we help people? And we all go down that path, whether it's at the gym or in your marriage or in your business, to get rid of this self-negative talk?
Well, that's a good question. First off, you can't focus on that. If you focus on it, so think about the law of attraction. What you focus on, you'll attract more of. So if you are like, oh my gosh, the people I'm going to attract aren't going to really believe in what I'm doing, or like, that's a pyramid thing. I don't want to deal with that. Do you follow me? And instead, if you were broadcasting, hey, you could be an entrepreneur, not only be successful, but at a low cost even. So that's something that, if you're broadcasting, and like me, I'm very competitive. So I'm competitive with myself. So it's always like, I want to raise that goal, raise it more. So once I get to a level, it's like, okay, I want to get to the next level. And so if you don't put the pressure on your mind, so a lot of times people put pressure on that number, whatever that is, whether it's sales or that number of like, inside their mind, they're like, I don't think I can do this, but I really want to. Well, then they're broadcasting a disbelief. So what kind of people are they attracting? Because those people are receiving the signal. So it's really important to pay attention, take the fear out of it, take the negativity out of it, because you have no room for it. So it makes it easier to hit your goal and sell when you have that winning mindset, that you're broadcasting nothing but winners that receive what you're selling as, yes, I need that. Thank you. Yes, I want to be a part of that. I want to talk about it. I want to spread the word. That's how the vibration becomes automatic. You got to broadcast automatic wealth. And this is what I talk about all the time, automatic sales. You want automatic sales, you want automatic connections, you must be broadcasting that. So instead of looking at the vision board, put a board up that looks at what am I broadcasting, and read that message before you have reachable moments where you're like, yes, I'm getting myself in my vibrational alignment till that's what I'm broadcasting. And then have that winning mentality. And then anyone, if you're an entrepreneur that has a team that you're dealing with, make sure they are understanding, what are we broadcasting as a team? Don't focus on the number and the level. Focus on the broadcasting of these reachable moments as a team. Look at how many people we're going to connect to. Look at how many lives we're going to change. When you're looking at that, that sends an empowering broadcast message where you're like, yes, I want a part of that. And I think that's what you did with Camp Elevate. is you made it this beautiful space in which you broadcasted this wonderful space where people can care and share and say, hey, we're a part of the team. So I think that's important. So that's what I would be telling anyone. Make sure you have that message and broadcast that out. And know when you receive it back, that's the most beautiful thing. People will start saying your message without even knowing it. And you'll be like, wow, this is so great. Law of attraction is amazing. But you got to be aligned to what you're broadcasting. That's important.
Well, I always think about when I run into a friend who might have a new love in her life, or in the beginning of that relationship, that people just, there's the sparkle. And you're like, what are they doing? I need to be a part of that. So I feel that way with, and I always talk about when you're in a business for a long time, that you have to continue to have those thoughts and have that energy around your business. Like on the paydays, having this moment of, I'm so grateful for this happening, and falling in love over and over again with the mission. So this is what happens to me a lot. So I'm going to like problem solve with you. Like you're coming in, we're doing a coaching session, is I get people that they have the belief and they're doing it. So they're believing that they're manifesting, and they're looking at all of the things, and they're doing the work that you've given them. Maybe they're in one of your business intuitive courses, but they're not actually having conversations with people. They think that if it's the universe aligns, that they're going to make sales and hit goals. So a lot of people will say to me, oh gosh, it must have been so easy for you because you attract these leaders that are, I attract 10. I attract 10s all day long. And I always have, but I know why. But then there's this, oh, I don't want to be in the hustle grind mentality and sending these icky messages. Well, you're projecting the icky messages, but sales and growth as an entrepreneur requires people to actually have conversations. So I think people get caught in this, I'm going to be in my meditation and manifesting and align my vibration with only these people that are vibrationally qualified, yet they're not doing shit behind the scenes. So how do you combine Lori's world and the world of, because you are also a sales ninja, you also hit big goals. So like I have a group of friends that they love this space. It's, and I always say, go to yoga, hang out there, but you got to come home and do the work. So how does it mesh? How do we create a world that we're vibrationally where we need to be? We've got the breathing exercises you give. We've got the things on the board, but then we are having conversations.
Okay. Well, first off, there is the law of action. So think about what you're broadcasting right now. If you're broadcasting, yes, I want to be this wealthy entrepreneur. I love what I'm doing. You want to do the action dance. You don't want to walk away from it. It's like when you meet someone that you're in love with. And what happens so much of the time is like what you said, the sparkle. And then all of a sudden you're in the relationship for a while and you're like, what the heck happened to the sparkle? Familiarity came in. And I talk about this when it's in relationships, business, whatever you're doing in your life. It's not really about meditation and staying in that kind of mindset of a Zen state, because when you are wanting to attract things in your life vibrationally, you want those actions. You want to attract and do that vibrational dance that I talk about. So when you're in a relationship, you don't want to wait until that sparkle goes away. So imagine for a moment that if somebody was listening to this podcast and maybe they keep hitting the same level of goal and they can't get themselves out of it, stuck vibrationally. What that means is that they've ran so much into familiarity that they can't even see, no matter how much they're broadcasting new words, their vibe is stagnant. So they've got to raise the awareness. Raising the awareness is, let's take a different route. When was the last time you were in the car and you were on your way somewhere and all of a sudden there's road construction and you're like, oh my gosh, detour. Then you're taking this detour and you're looking around and you're like, how did I not ever see this before? So it's really important that if you are stuck in that level and you're like, gosh, what do I do to get out? All right, let's take a different approach. Let's take a different action. You can coach somebody all day long, but if they do not take a different action, this is how it is in relationships. If you continue to keep the same action and you keep going, eventually vibrationally, it's not going to be enough. you're not going to be passionate about it. You're going to rationalize and say, well, at least I have this. I'm grateful for what I have. No, be grateful for what you're attracting and what's coming in for you. That's important.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Okay. So there's so much to get into these 30 minutes. I want to tell you guys that Lori's Facebook page is full of free content. She gives so much away, and then we'll connect in the show notes how to connect with her, because she's got all kinds of programs where you're like, I need to do this work. And you all need to do this work. I need to do it. And that's how I connected with Lori. Was I firmly believe if I'm going to go beyond, you might be listening saying, oh, well, she did this, this, and this. That's not enough. I have to stay in the work. It's like if you go to church and you're in that community and you detach from it and you're not staying in the word. So and we can do a follow-up, because I know that you guys, we try to keep it 30 minutes because I think that's gym time. Most people put it in their earbuds for a commute. So we can do a follow-up. But today I was on my app at the gym and Nick sent me a workout and I can communicate with him. And I have my chat with my accountability friends. And I was like, I just killed it. And we're all cheering for each other. And those are the things that help me to stay on track. So if you were our trainer, our vibrational trainer, not our fitness trainer, and someone is pretty much brand new to this, they might have messed around with a couple YouTube videos, maybe they cut out some pictures. Can you give us an assignment, a beginning workout, if we're new to this, that will help us in the first steps to all of this work, to raising the vibration? And I want to say to you guys, as you listen, just get started. It's never perfect work. You're never going to understand it totally. I can look at what Lori's bio that you heard, and I've done the work, and you just get started before you even have an understanding. Don't go into research mode. I got to see if this is for me. Just do a little, and then more, and then more, and then more. So what's our workout? What's our assignment from you?
Okay. Well, first off, I'm sure a lot of people that are listening to this podcast are used to listening to other people. What do the billionaires do as a morning ritual? So we talk about, certain people like Mark Walberg gets up at 4 a.m. So why does Mark Walberg get up at 4 a.m.? Because, he wants to maximize his time? No, the first 2 hours in the morning is the best time for the conscious mind. And so what that means is that you don't have a lot on your mind. So what you're doing is, the workout is building the endorphins. So you need that, but you also need that mental vibration. And I always say, think about the T for a moment. So the T meaning and vibration is your thoughts. So if your thoughts are negative, or you're already prophesizing your day as strategizing, okay, how am I going to get through the clutter? Then you've already broadcasted a signal that says today is going to be a chaotic day. So you want to make sure that those thoughts are nice and broadcasting what you want that day to be. Then we have the E. The E is about the decision making in our environment, which means our internal environment. So there's only so many decisions you can make in a day before you start to get overwhelmed. That's why someone like Mark Zuckerberg only wears a certain color or a certain outfit, because he wants one less decision so he can focus on making sure that all the decisions he's making are geared towards his goal. So if you've already over made the decision, so, okay, you woke up, the thoughts are chaotic, your environment internally is like, oh my gosh, you're overwhelmed on the decisions. So now you're going to have an emotion that's going to broadcast frustration, perhaps disappointment. Maybe you've set yourself already emotionally up for failure. And then that affects your attitude. Your attitude affects your actions. So you'll wonder why most people think, if I sit back in a meditation and manifest and I'm in the Zen mindset, you get that? Well, that's the kind of action. They're not taking action. That's why they're not getting the outcome. Do you follow me with that? So the thing that you want to be able to do, besides putting your broadcast message on your board, is to pay attention to your T. The moment that you wake up in the morning, make sure you're vibrationally aligned to that. If you have a situation where you have to make a lot of decisions in your business, time to get an assistant so they can make some of your decisions for you so you don't get overwhelmed. So that's the difference between starting to accelerate. And if you're really wanting to make $1 million or a multimillionaire or anything like that, you've got to know that you only have a certain requirement. So I would encourage you to put on your board the T and stay focused on that. That would be the very first thing that I would do. So if you are having something going on in your life that is emotionally affecting you in a negative way, you want to back away and not broadcast that into your entrepreneurial business, because that's going to get setbacks for you. So you want to be able to be for a setup in your situation. So to be in that setup, you've got to, number one, have your goal, make sure that you're following your daily T, and put forth that wonderful action of that dance to be passionate about what you're doing. And yes, I tell people, sure, meditate. That's a way to quiet the mind, but that's not the way to elevate your business. That's a way to just quiet your mind. Does that make sense?
Yes. And I couldn't help as you were thinking about the T of sending a 15-year-old son to school, because his first thought is, it's you know, if you guys have teenagers, just see the contrast of, and when you think about the mornings that you wake up early, your thoughts, you start your day with those thoughts and everything seems to flow and fall into place, start to pay attention to why that's happening. And then those other mornings when it may be chaos, you've slept in, the backpacks are being thrown at each other, the dog is barking, the cat is, and then the vibration has gone or is so low. So when we feel that chaos, when we feel like this is out of control and your husband's over here chewing on a peanut and you're ready to punch him in the face and the kid is over here, you know, slumping around, how do we create the T?
Okay.
You know, because we all do it. Do you ever, I mean, you're so trained in this. Do you ever have those moments that I am completely annoyed? I got to bring myself back. And I know that you have some of your own methods that you use. So like for me right now, this is what I'm looking for. I'm looking for, I start to feel it slipping. The peanut chewing is annoying me. The dog is snoring in the corner and the kid is driving me crazy. And guess what's going to happen to everything for that day? What do we do when we feel the slip?
Okay, first off, when all of that is happening, that's an indication that you've already used up all your decision power. Because the minute you use up your decision power, your fight or flight, your stress responses are heightened. So even the most mild little sound sounds like it's tremendously getting on your nerves. So when you're completely in that way, I tell people back away and start breathing and relaxing and put some earphones on or earbuds on, listen to something calming, start to relax to get that sensory of that nervous system calm and quiet. And the other thing I want to bring up too that I think is important. So if somebody's listening right now and you're broadcasting good stuff in your vibe, but you're receiving resistance back, I want to answer that, because so much of the time when you're sending out good vibes and you're broadcasting, you're like, yes, yes, yes. What the heck is going on? All these people I'm receiving are, gosh, they're negative, they're reactive, or maybe you're putting forth those actions and like you said earlier, it's crickets. You're like, what the heck? I'm broadcasting. Where's my people? Come on. And so what that means in receptive mode. So if you're receiving a lot of negative people coming your way, you got that? What I encourage you to do at that point is, because your broadcasting message might be too high. So hold on just a second and listen to me. So a lot of times we put our broadcasting to a manifestation, perhaps an amount of money that you want. So let's say right now, someone listening is only making $100,000 a year and they want to get up to that $1 million level. Okay. So you want to adjust. So if you're broadcasting, you're like, yes, 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 I got this going. But what I'm receiving back is people that are negative. That means you've got to spend time raising that vibration. So you want to back away from that. Backing away from that is easy. So I give a simple receptive exercise. So just like when that you're all that decision power and everything is getting you unnerved, okay? So when you're sending out the signal to go from 100 to 1 million, the people's actions are different. You've just adjusted your actions to say, wow, my vibration is, yes, I'm broadcasting $1 million. Okay. And so in this situation, you want to be able to back away, have some reflection time. Reflection time means sit back and take a look at what people are you wanting to receive that aren't up to the standard of what you're broadcasting. So they may be halfway to that point. Do you follow what I'm saying? So what would the message be? You can't make the message the exact same. This is what happens. If you're $100,000 a year and how you're sending out your message, and you are now deciding you want to be that millionaire, we've got to change the message. This is why, Beth, I'm sure you can recognize this. You've expanded your toolbox of ways that you're reaching people and how you're doing different things. And so as you're doing that, it's because you're recognizing, all right, what the people I need to receive has to understand my message. So you have to change the message. Don't make it the same. So sit back. If you're experiencing that, if nobody is addressing you and you're like crickets, then I want you to sit back and say, okay, how are they receiving my message? So I may be broadcasting my vibe and my words may be like, yes, these are $1 million words. But how the people are receiving it, it may not feel that way to them. It may feel more like, who do you think you are? Like, why should I buy from you? So it's important to look at that receptive mode. So don't forget to do that if you're having difficulty. Sit back, relax, breathe, and what I call profiling. Profile the people that you're wanting to reach and how they're receiving that message. Then they'll automatically start reaching you without really having to do that hustle and grind. That's the important thing when you're working with vibration, is to get it to become automatic and readjust that vibe when you want to increase either that wealth or expand your business. So I hope that makes sense.
Yeah, it does. And I'm taking crazy notes because this is you guys knowing that as you get information as it comes in, hearing it over and over again, listening to the podcast, going and watching some of the lives, getting on. Lori has a newsletter that you can find on her website if you subscribe that talks about the tea, and consistently committing to this is every day. I always say to my husband, it takes a lot of work because, it's an investment of time, of money, it's a commitment of I'm not going to live just in this space, in this ordinary space. And it's so beautiful when you start to really commit and do the work and you're honest with yourself of, am I really doing it? Like I know, Lori, when I'm not up at 4:45, the rest of the day, I know how that's going to go. And I will not, projecting this right here, but today, everything's in place. I know without question, I know what's happening for me on my sales side today. I was at the gym this morning and I love Dixie Chicks. I try to stay away from anything that requires thought at the gym that I have to process. I'm listening to Dixie Chicks and I'm smiling at people. And some guy is like, what are you listening to? And because it was a totally different vibration today it was so high. And then, of course, my weights went up. The results are starting to come. So I encourage you guys to do this work. I get really excited about it, obviously. So there's a lot of ways, and I always share this, and we share it in the show notes. There's a lot of ways that you can connect with Lori where she's giving you a lot if you don't feel like, oh, hey, I need to check this out from just stalking a Facebook page, but you work with people at all different levels. Will you describe how if someone wants to connect with you, work with you in a group form, work with you privately? I know that we're looking forward to a podcast maybe down the road. So how can this audience get more of you?
Okay, well, currently there are a couple of ways. One of the ways is I teach people how to put intuition into your business. And that's important because 40% of CEOs currently right now in the world, no matter how much knowledge they have, they're using their intuition. And that intuition then leads you to, let me use, for example, you might be right now on social media, doing the hustle, broadcasting that vibe and going, yes, 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 I want to be that millionaire. And then you're not listening to the instinct because maybe that's not the time. maybe you are so unaware that the people that you're actually aligning with and attracting aren't the ones that are going to take your business from 0 to 1,000,000. And so it's important to recognize intuition in that. So currently I have a program that's kicking off in 2020, putting the intuition back in your business. And then if someone's reaching out to me in a one-on-one, which a lot of people do because they want things tailored, they want to recognize how much of my familiarity vibe, or I've been stuck in this relationship for a long while, how do I get passion back into it? Or how do I resuscitate my poor entrepreneurial business into a wealthy one? So this is things that I do in the custom tailored, besides, health and all of these things. So that's what I do in a one-on-one. And also, I do corporate things in groups and different things like that. People are always reaching out to that. So there's all sorts of ways. But I encourage people, if you're just listening to this podcast and going like, what the heck is this woman talking about? But man, it sounds so awesome. I want to learn more. Check out my video library on my personal page on Facebook, because I give so many tools the right way to manifest using your conscious mind and how to expand your vibe. So I encourage people, that's a way that they can reach out. I love to give people the tools because law of vibration is always working. So whether you're doing the work or not, it's happening. It's happening as you're listening to this podcast right now. So if you don't like your current reality or it's not enough for you, then clearly you're attracting more of that vibration. So it's time to get a new vibe, increase the vibe, broadcast things differently. So that's what I would suggest.
I think it's so cool that it's a possibility, right? That, because I, again, go back to a 15-year-old boy who doesn't want to go to school today. And he's like, I talk to him about the tea, and I have these conversations. And I have friends that had kind of a different, we didn't talk about this when I was growing up. My mom had very high vibration, and a lot of that is carrying over into my life. People say, you're so lucky. So if you're a parent and you're listening, all of these things apply to being an entrepreneur, to being a parent, to being a spouse. Even imagine, I just had my giant golden retriever walk up. Your dogs even feel it. Like so it's so exciting to me. I know you guys, I get all excited about these things that happen. What a gift, right? That this is out there. Okay. One last question that I have for you is, and this is always a surprise question. So are you ready?
Oh, I'm excited. Yes. All right.
Okay. So of all the things that you could have in the world, money is not an option. Is not an issue. Everything that, you could find it under your Christmas tree, or it would arrive via Amazon Prime. What would you want today on your doorstep?
Oh, for myself?
For yourself.
Oh gosh, that's a tough one because I'm such a giver, and not to sound, pompous in any way, I actually live such an amazing life that I haven't wanted for anything for years. So I spend most of my time giving back. So the one thing that I would want on my doorstep from Amazon is everything from Amazon, so I could turn around and give it to everybody that actually needs it. And that would bring such a joy to me, just the same way with the tools that I give to help people understand more about how their mind works in the vibration. Because the more you know about how you work, the more these things will happen to you. Because people say this, I can remember the first time I went to a car dealer and bought 3 brand new cars and gave them away. I gave them away to people I didn't even know. And, I bought several homes and gave those away. And, you give back when you arrive at a certain level. So the thing under the Christmas tree that I would want is everything for everyone that at this moment is barely getting by in the world. So it would give them enough resuscitation so that I could teach them how to increase their vibe so they could do the same thing and give back. I think that's the most important thing. That's my wonderful.
That's your Amazon Prime delivery.
That is. Yes.
I do love that. And so let's start a chain on that, because no matter what your financial situation is today, I want you to think about somebody in your life, and you have the intuition to know that even having a gift card for Whole Foods would help their Christmas. And think of someone, whoever comes to your mind right now, and use your intuition to say, I'm going to send this $20 book, or I'm going to send this Amazon gift card because it's going to help with their Christmas. And don't sign your name. Just send it. Let it arrive. Remember May Day baskets back in the day, you'd leave a basket on somebody's doorstep. Just do that good deed today and go out and give something. And you'll notice, it's like that whole thing when someone pays for your Starbucks. It feels so good. We do that all the time. We'll be like, let's pay for them today. That's so fun, right?
Yeah,
all right, Lori. Well, thank you.
You are so welcome
on today. You guys, in the show notes, we are going to put all of the ways that you can connect with Lori, grab her free videos on her page, look at the Business Intuitive or the High Vibe courses coming up. And of course, we always end, Oliver always walks up and he starts groaning into the microphone. So on my podcast, they're like, you're so professional until the dog starts groaning. All right, Lori, thank you. I'm going to stop this recording. And you guys, if you're listening to this, I'm really serious about, I'm doing it right when we get off, blessing somebody with a gift today that you are capable of giving, even if it's $10, and how good you're going to feel after you do that. And don't shout it out on social media that you did it. Or do the 100% tip and do it anonymously. And we can raise this entire vibration of this crazy country that we live in, right? All right. Talk to you guys all next Monday. Thanks for hopping on. And as always, go ahead and do a screenshot of this. Lori, are you on Instagram?
I am on Instagram.
Okay. And how can we find you on Instagram? Because I have them tag both of us so you can reshare it in your stories.
Oh, you're asking me this, and the team that works with me does all of that. So
I'll put it in the show notes.
Yes,
I'll put it in the show notes. And I love this. When she said she doesn't use the decision making, when we couldn't get the audio, she immediately, and I loved it. She was like, there's no room in my brain. I could see that. So she called Lauren, and Lauren solved the problem. It was so easy. So we're going to put how to connect with Lori on Instagram. I'm at Beth Holden Graves. Screenshot this. Put it in your direct messages and up in your stories so people will hear the podcast, and I'll connect with you that way, and I'll catch you guys all next Monday.
I want to thank you for hanging out with us today on the podcast. As always, screenshot this, share it over on Instagram. I will chat with you over in the DMs. And there's still time to chat with me about the Profit Her Way Mastermind 2020 program that we are just getting started. And may I tell you that we have the most phenomenal group of women that are going to be masterminding and working together starting in January. So let's get you on that list. Let's see if it's a fit for you. One of my best, and biggest pieces of advice from an entrepreneur was, surround yourself with women that want to see you succeed, that are pushing you to go a little longer, to reach a little higher. And that's what we're doing over in the mastermind. So you can get on that list to chat with me at bethholdengraves.com/profit. And as always, we are doing amazing things in our free Facebook group, Camp Elevate. Find us in the show notes, or just go to the campelevategroup.com and join us. We are finishing up a book exchange this week, and we have some really amazing free trainings on the way that will be happening before the new year as we look at crushing our goals in 2020 and looking at our year in review. So I'll see you all next week. Santa will be with us, so I can't wait.
Thanks so much for hanging out with me today on You're Not the Boss of Me. I'm hoping that you found one thing that you will do today that will allow you to move forward to that big, audacious goal. And I have a favor to ask of you, and that is leaving me a 5-star review over in iTunes. Every single week, I read your reviews. I love hearing what you have to say, and it allows me to bring you more, to get more people to interview that are doing the thing, breaking the glass ceilings, creating what they crave, and helping you with your game plan. So leave me a 5-star review, and when you do, I enter you to win the You're Not the Boss of Me swag. So make sure you leave it, and we'll reach out to you if you're the winner. Thanks so much for hanging with me today, and we'll chat with you soon.